very honoured to have been invited again as a guest artist for the Animal Artists Collective in July. So this month, the group of animals we've chosen to represent are the ungulates. These are members of a diverse group of primarily large mammals, which include odd and even-toed animals like horses and rhinoceroses, cattle, pigs, giraffes, and even the sub-ungulates such as an elephant. So my chosen animal was a zebra. I've always wanted to draw a zebra, never got around to doing one. I think they are fascinating creatures both in the wild and also to draw. And I made the decision to draw white on black, which I thought would be quite striking and would work really well with their colouring anyway, with them being black and white. So I chose a piece of mount board, the type of board that you would actually mount pictures with. I chose to draw on that because it's a really smooth surface, and the black is very black. So it would show up the white really quite nicely actually. And I used two different white pencils, the Caran Pablo white and the Caran Museum Aquarell white. Used them both dry, straight on top of the mount board, and I also used a black Derwent Lightfast just to sort of bring in a little bit of detail into on top of the white. And I included the use of my putty eraser, which is a tool I use all of the time. I couldn't be without it, and I've used that just sort of lift off some of the white and clean bits up and basically create sort of tonal values, if you like. So a few facts about zebras. There are three species, the Grevy's zebra, I think I pronounced that right, mountain zebra and the plain zebra. And the plain zebra is by far the most common. The Grevy's zebra is the rarest of the three species and is classed as endangered, followed by the mountain zebra, both of which classed as vulnerable after having their populations dramatically reduced. The zebra that I'm drawing in the video is a plain zebra. One of the most obvious ways to tell the difference between the Grevy's zebra and the plain zebra is actually by their stripes. So even though they do both have black and white stripes, there is a significant difference. The Grevy's zebra, which was actually the first zebra species to evolve, has taller, narrow stripes, a white belly, black dorsal stripe, and large rounded ears, and also they have a brown muzzle, which is different to the plain zebra. A few decades ago in the 1970s, more than 15,000 Grevy's zebras inhabited Africa. Sadly today fewer than 2,500 remain, and the greatest threats facing the species today are habitat fragmentation and loss as more land is converted to agricultural use. Overgrazing by livestock is leading to significant environmental degradation, and Grevy's zebras compete with the ever increasing livestock population and agricultural crops for water. So what's the solution to the long-term conservation of Grevy's zebra and other endangered wildlife in the Horn of Africa? The answer lies with the local communities. In the past, Kenyan and Ethiopian communities have had very little incentive to protect their wildlife because doing so provided no direct benefits to the people. But the support of local communities is absolutely essential to Grevy's zebra conservation because community-owned property is home to the vast majority of the remaining wild population. So if conservation efforts in Kenya and Ethiopia are to be successful, the efforts must consider the needs of the rural people as well as the needs of the wildlife. In particular, conservation efforts must improve security for both the wildlife and the communities, as well as enhance the livelihoods of the people. With the support of the St. Louis Zoo and others, the Grevy's Zebra Trust was registered as an independent charitable wildlife conservation trust based in Kenya in early 2007. Its mission is to conserve the endangered Grevy's zebra and its fragile habitat in partnership with communities. It operates in Samburu and Marsabit districts of northern Kenya and provides technical support to Grevy's zebra conservation in Ethiopia. I will leave a link to a website that you can go to if you would like to help support the Grevy's zebra and learn more about them. So a little bit about the piece that I am creating in the video. The image was taken from Pixabay, which is a really great resource for artists, you know, to find copyright-free photographs. The picture I chose was in full colour, and I reversed it to black and white because that's what I was going to be using for the drawing. Again, as I've mentioned, I decided to do it on this very, very black, smooth mount board, which was really lovely to work on actually, and not a surface that I've worked on very often, but it is very smooth, and it takes pencil very, very well. And as you can see from the video here, you know, I use my usual style of adding pigment in and taking it away and adding it in and taking it away, and you can add quite a few layers into there. A lot of people ask me how I initially get my outline down on the support that I'm using, on the paper that I'm using. Many times I do freehand. It's actually a method that is my preference to use, purely because drawing an outline of a piece is a little bit alien to me because I tend to draw things all in one go, but because I'm now incredibly busy and I create tutorials and everything like that, it is actually easier for other people if I create the outline first, and it makes things a little bit speedier as well. This piece was projected onto my drawing board. I use an Artograph Inspire 1000 projector, which is just brilliant, and it saves me so much time. You know, if I were to freehand this piece, it would have taken me a good couple of days, and as it was, the piece only took me a day to create. You know, and sadly, you know, which is awful, I just don't have the time to freehand my pieces much of the time, unfortunately. So this was projected onto my drawing board, and I mean, people who know my work will know that I don't do a very good job of outlines at all. They're not very accurate. They're all a bit hit and miss, which is I shouldn't really be acknowledging really, but they are a little bit hit and miss. You can see here, you know, it's not the most fantastic outline. I think I get a little bit bored at that stage because I just want to jump in and start creating the piece, but then I give myself a load of hassle afterwards because, you know, I've got things in the wrong place, or, you know, the wrong size or whatever, and then I end up having to freehand anyway. So I don't know why I just don't freehand from the beginning, but using a projector is a really, really useful tool. The one I have has a function that you can change the perspective, so you can actually project onto an angled surface, which is really useful, especially for me with my drawing board. So I just sort of whack the outline down, and then I jump in. I always start with the eye. I like my pieces to come to life straight away, so the eye goes in, and then that almost draws me in to carry on working on the piece. And then just using the two white pencils, and I started off with a black polychromos actually, and then moved on to the black Derwent Lightfast because it was it sounds really strange, but it was a better black, a better match to the black of the paper. The pencils I used with quite hard pressure in the really white areas. As you can see at the moment, what I'm doing now is I'm going in with much lighter pressure and just adding in sort of like almost a shine of the hair. So plotting all of that colour in and then going back in again with the putty eraser just to kind of lift things out and to give like a nice soft feel to those edges. Really, really great tool that I use, you know, a lot of the time for the majority of my work actually. The bottom of the zebra, just very simple shapes. It's not really in focus, but just, you know, simple shapes, blocking the colour in, and it worked really, really well. And I would definitely recommend anybody wanting to draw a piece, you know, a black and white piece, to use the black mount board because it is so much fun to draw. I'd like to thank Animal Artists Collective again for inviting me to be one of their guest artist. And thank you for watching my video.